Imagine a life where every financial decision brings you closer to divine prosperity and deeper fulfillment. What if I told you that applying 7 specific Bible verses could not only increase your wealth, but also align you with God's purposes for a life of abundance? Today, we're going to explore these powerful scriptures that promise more than just financial gains. They offer wisdom, peace, and a legacy that lasts generations. Join me as we unlock the secrets to a richer life, both spiritually and materially. Proverbs 10:4 says, "Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth." Imagine a world where each task you undertake is infused with purpose, where every effort you make not only brings you closer to financial freedom, but aligns you with divine principles for living. Diligent hands bring wealth, says the ancient scripture, not merely as an observation, but as a call to action, a divine directive that your work ethic and perseverance are directly linked to your prosperity. This isn't about relentless toil or mere busy work. It's about meaningful, focused effort that's aligned with your deepest values and God's promises. Reflect on the life of someone who embodies diligence. They rise early, not out of obligation, but from a desire to make the most of their day. They work with intention, whether tending to a business, cultivating their talents, or nurturing relationships. Each action is a brick in the edifice of their future, laid with the mortar of discipline and foresight. Now consider the opposite. Where does laziness lead? It's not just about a lack of movement, but a stagnation of spirit, a barrier to blessing. Poverty, as mentioned in Proverbs, isn't merely about the absence of wealth, but the absence of growth, potential, and fulfillment. It's a life half-lived, a purpose unfulfilled. The path to wealth is as much about the condition of your spirit as it is about the state of your bank account. When you live diligently, you're not chasing riches, but attracting them. Wealth flows towards those who are prepared, who manage their resources wisely, and who respect the sanctity of hard-earned prosperity. Imagine your life as a garden. Diligence is your daily watering, your careful pruning, and your attentive care. Neglect it, and the garden withers. Tend it well, and it thrives. In this lush garden, wealth grows not as a weed, but as a well-planted crop, cultivated by your own hands. This is not just about monetary gain. It's about the richness of a well-lived life. As you align your actions with your faith, your work becomes an act of worship, and your gains become blessings, not just for yourself, but for others. Through your diligence, you become a conduit of God's generosity, a steward of His abundance. Let this understanding of diligence reshape how you approach each day. See your efforts as seeds of prosperity and your discipline as the sunlight needed to grow. Each morning, remind yourself of the power you have to influence your world through diligent actions. With every wise decision, every determined step, you're not just working towards wealth, you're weaving a tapestry of abundant life that reflects the glory of the divine. As you move forward, let the truth of Proverbs 10:4 resonate in your actions and your spirit. Let it remind you that your hands are not just tools of creation, but vessels of blessing. In the grand design of your life, how you work is how you worship, and how you prosper is how you proclaim the faithfulness of God, who rewards those who earnestly seek Him through their diligence. Ecclesiastes 7:12, "For wisdom is a defense as money is a defense, but the excellence of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to those who have it." This scripture reveals a dual promise, the protective power of money and the life-giving force of wisdom. It suggests that while wealth can guard us against many of life's hardships, wisdom cultivates a richer, more enlightened existence. Think of wisdom not just as accumulated knowledge, but as deeply rooted understanding that infuses your decisions with insight and foresight. This wisdom discerns the right paths, not only in finances but in all life's aspects, guiding you to act not out of impulse, but from a place of deep understanding. Consider the story of King Solomon, who, when offered anything he desired, chose wisdom above riches or power. His choice brought him unparalleled wealth and success, illustrating that wisdom itself is a wellspring of riches, attracting opportunities and opening doors that no key of gold could unlock. Now, reflect on the pitfalls of ignorance. Decisions made in haste, investments chosen in naivety, and opportunities missed due to lack of understanding. Each misstep, while a lesson, is also a reminder of what we forfeit when we neglect the pursuit of knowledge. Wealth gained without wisdom is like a ship without a rudder, vulnerable to the currents of circumstance and chance. But armed with wisdom, every financial decision becomes an informed choice, every risk is calculated, and every opportunity is optimized. Envision your life as a vast library, each book a repository of knowledge. Wisdom is the master key that unlocks these volumes, allowing you to read the hidden texts of deeper truths and apply them to your life's work. In this library, you do not merely accumulate facts but learn the art of living well. This pursuit of wisdom is not a solitary journey. It involves community, counsel, and the sharing of insights. Engage with mentors, partake in discussions, and immerse yourself in the scriptures. Let each interaction enrich your understanding and each lesson enhance your discernment. As you cultivate this wisdom, see how it transforms your approach to wealth. It teaches you when to save and how to invest, but more profoundly, it shows you why generosity enriches and how stewardship fulfills. Your financial decisions begin to mirror the values you hold dear, and your wealth becomes a testament to a life well understood, not just well funded. Let this deep dive into the essence of Ecclesiastes 7:12 inspire you to seek wisdom as diligently as you seek wealth. Remember that in gaining wisdom, you gain life itself, a life of purpose, understanding, and true prosperity. Each day offers a new page to be read, a new secret to be uncovered, and with wisdom, your story becomes one of lasting impact and inherent worth. In the grand narrative of your life, let wisdom write chapters of profound depth and meaning. As you turn each page, empowered by knowledge, your life becomes a richer story, and your wealth a tool for crafting a legacy of enlightened prosperity that echoes through generations. Romans 12:2, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. This verse is not just a directive, it's an invitation to experience life through a renewed perspective that aligns with divine wisdom and understanding. In a society often driven by consumerism and materialism, where success is frequently measured by accumulation and status, this passage challenges us to elevate our thinking above the ordinary, to transcend the typical measures of wealth. It asks us to consider not only what we accumulate, but how and why we accumulate it. This transformation of the mind fundamentally shifts every aspect of our existence, including our financial behaviors and strategies. Imagine reshaping your financial decisions based on a mindset that values eternal impact over temporary gain. This renewed approach isn't about rejecting wealth, but about redefining what true riches mean. It's understanding that the real measure of our wealth isn't just in the abundance of our possessions, but in the richness of our relationships, the depth of our generosity, and the alignment of our values with God's purposes. Reflect on how often the world encourages us to chase after the latest trends, the biggest earnings, the most lucrative investments. Romans 12:2 beckons us to a higher pursuit, one that seeks rewards not always visible to the eye, but everlasting in their value. It's about making choices that may not always align with worldly wisdom, but are firmly rooted in spiritual truths. Now, think of the freedom that comes from this kind of transformation. It liberates us from the relentless pursuit of more and grants us the peace to enjoy what we have, to use it wisely, and to expand it in ways that bless others. It encourages us to look at our finances as tools for doing good, for supporting causes that matter, for helping those in need, and for building a legacy that goes beyond mere wealth. Visualize your life as a canvas, each financial decision a stroke of paint. With a mind transformed by divine wisdom, each stroke contributes to a bigger picture, one that God has designed. Each investment, savings, and expenditure tells a story of a life not conformed to this world's patterns, but transformed by heavenly values. As you apply this scriptural wisdom, let it continually remind you to assess your motivations, to question your financial habits, and to align your economic choices with your deepest beliefs. It's a process that doesn't just change how you handle money, it changes how you view every resource at your disposal, from your time to your talents to your treasure. Embrace the journey of transformation promised in Romans 12:2. Let it mold not only your mind, but your heart and spirit. As you do, watch how your path to financial stability and wealth becomes less about what you accumulate and more about who you become in the process. It's a transformation that promises not only financial success, but a life of true richness and purposeful living. By grounding your financial life in this spiritual renewal, you create a foundation that withstands economic fluctuations, personal trials, and the test of time. Your finances then become a reflection of your faith, a testimony to a mind renewed and a life transformed, where every economic choice supports a bigger divine purpose. Proverbs 13:22, a good person leaves an inheritance to their children's children, but the sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. This verse challenges us to think deeply about the legacy we wish to leave behind, urging us to see beyond our immediate desires and consider the long-term impact of our financial decisions. This verse isn't merely a call to save money or to amass wealth. It is a profound directive to cultivate a legacy that extends beyond material wealth, encompassing values, teachings, and a foundation of faith that can guide future generations. It prompts us to consider how our actions today will resonate in the lives of those who come after us, encouraging us to build something that lasts beyond our own lifetimes. Imagine your financial practices as not just transactions or strategies for personal gain, but as parts of a larger story you're writing for your family. Each decision to save, invest, or spend wisely becomes a line in this ongoing narrative. It's about creating stability and opportunity, not just for your children, but for their children as well, giving them a platform from which they can achieve their own success and in turn pass on their blessings. Reflect on the type of inheritance that Proverbs 13:22 speaks of. It goes beyond financial assets. It includes the values you teach, the habits you model, and the name you leave behind. Are you known for your generosity, your prudence, your faith? These intangible assets can be just as powerful as any financial wealth you pass down. Now consider the contrast presented in the verse, the fleeting nature of wealth accumulated through sinful means. Wealth gained without regard for righteousness or ethical considerations has no lasting foundation. It is often squandered quickly or leaves a trail of destruction. In contrast, wealth built upon righteous living is sustained and becomes a reservoir from which many can draw. Envision your financial planning as part of a broader spiritual duty. Each act of saving, each investment, and each act of giving should be infused with prayer and purpose, guided by a desire to serve not only your immediate family, but also future generations and the broader community. This approach not only enriches your lineage, but strengthens the community and society your descendants will inherit. As you move forward, let Proverbs 13:22 be a compass that guides your financial decisions. Let it inspire you to build wealth that is not only substantial, but also sustainable and righteous. Approach your economic activities with the knowledge that you are not just storing up treasures for yourself, but are planting seeds for gardens you will never see, cultivating a legacy of faith, hope, and love. This perspective shifts the focus from individual gain to communal and generational blessing. It encourages a stewardship mentality where wealth is not hoarded but managed wisely and shared generously. By living and planning in this way, you ensure that your legacy is not just one of wealth, but one of wisdom and righteousness, echoing through generations in ways that material riches alone never could. Through this understanding of Proverbs 13:22, embrace the profound responsibility and privilege of building a legacy. Let each financial choice be a brick in the edifice of a future that you will be proud to leave behind, a testament to a life well lived and a fortune well used, not for self-gratification, but for the glory of God and the good of many. Proverbs 3:9. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. We uncover a directive that intertwines our spiritual devotion with our material wealth. This scripture calls us to a profound expression of gratitude and acknowledgement that everything we own, earn, or harvest is not solely by our efforts, but through the divine providence and blessing of God. This verse is an invitation to look at our financial abundance as more than a personal achievement. It is a gift entrusted to us by God, meant to be managed with wisdom and generosity. When we honor the Lord with our wealth, we do so by recognizing Him as the ultimate source of our prosperity and by aligning our financial practices with His will and purposes. Imagine each financial gain or profit not merely as an increase in your assets, but as an opportunity to demonstrate your gratitude and commitment to God's kingdom. This isn't just about charitable giving, although that is certainly a part of it. It's about a holistic approach to wealth that reflects our spiritual values in every aspect. How we earn, save, invest, and spend. Reflect on the biblical concept of first fruits, an ancient practice where the first and best of the harvest was offered to God as a symbol of trust and reliance on His continued provision. This act of giving the first and best is deeply symbolic, representing not only gratitude but also priority. It poses the question, do we prioritize God in our financial lives? Are we willing to trust Him with the first and best, or do we give Him only what's left over? Now consider how this principle applies in today's context. Honoring God with your wealth could look like setting up the first automatic transfer to your church or a charity each month before other expenses. It could mean investing in ethical businesses that align with Christian values, or it could involve using your resources to help those in need, thus acting as a steward of God's provision. Envision your financial decisions as part of a larger spiritual practice, where each choice is an act of worship and an expression of faith. This approach not only changes how you view your wealth, but also deepens your relationship with God, knowing that you are using your resources in ways that honor Him. As you go about your financial activities, let Proverbs 3:9 be a guiding light, reminding you to continually reflect on how you are using God's gifts. Ask yourself if your financial habits reflect a life that honors God. Are you managing your money in a way that shows you trust Him? Are you using your wealth to make a positive impact in the world? Let this exploration of Proverbs 3:9 transform your understanding of wealth from a personal asset to a divine tool. By choosing to honor the Lord with your wealth, you align your material resources with your spiritual values, ensuring that your financial practices enhance not just your life, but also the lives of others. This alignment brings a deeper satisfaction and peace, knowing that your wealth serves a greater purpose and contributes to a legacy of faith, generosity, and impact. Through this understanding, embrace the profound privilege of being able to honor God with your wealth. This commitment enriches your spiritual journey, deepens your trust in God's provision, and transforms your financial blessings into instruments of grace and impact in the world. Navigating through John 14:27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." We are reminded of the unique and profound peace that Christ offers, a peace that transcends mere earthly tranquility and extends into every aspect of our lives, including our financial endeavors. This scripture invites us to reconsider the sources of our peace, especially in the context of financial security and prosperity. Unlike the fleeting assurances offered by worldly wealth, the peace that Jesus imparts is enduring, rooted in spiritual certainty rather than material accumulations. It's a reassurance that no matter the volatility of markets or the uncertainty of economies, our hearts can remain steadfast, anchored in divine assurance. Imagine navigating your financial life with this kind of peace. It's not that the challenges or the risks of financial decision-making disappear, but your approach to them changes fundamentally. Decisions are no longer driven by panic, fear of loss, or the anxiety of uncertainty. Instead, they are informed by a calm steadiness that comes from trusting in a higher plan and a deeper truth, that God is in control and His provisions are sufficient. Reflect on how often financial worries disrupt our peace. The stress of managing debt, the fear of not having enough for retirement, or the anxiety of unforeseen expenses, these are common experiences for many. Yet John 14:27 calls us to a different kind of financial life, one where peace governs our hearts, not fear. Now think about practical ways this divine peace can influence your financial behaviors. It might mean setting up a budget, not out of fear of scarcity, but from a place of contentment and management of God's provision. It could involve making investment choices that reflect a trust in God's long-term provision rather than short-term gains fraught with anxiety. Envision your financial planning sessions infused with prayer and meditation, seeking not just to align your budgets and investments with your financial goals, but also with your spiritual values. This integration solidifies the peace Christ offers, allowing it to be the foundation upon which all financial decisions are built. As you apply this scripture to your life, let it continually remind you to evaluate the source of your peace. Are you relying solely on your financial acumen or the security of your assets? Or are you grounding your financial peace in the assurance that comes from Christ? This shift in perspective can transform your approach to wealth from one of anxiety and fear to one of faith and peace. Let John 14:27 inspire you to cultivate a financial life that is as rich in peace as it is in prosperity. Let it encourage you to build not just a portfolio of investments, but a legacy of trust and tranquility. Embrace the challenges of financial management with a heart untroubled by the ups and downs of economic circumstances, confident in the everlasting peace that Christ gives, a peace that assures you, no matter what, you are secure in God's gracious provision. Through this deeper understanding, engage with your finances in a way that spreads this peace outward, impacting how you interact with others about money, how you support charitable causes, and how you plan for the future. Your financial practices, rooted in the peace of Christ, can then become a powerful testimony of faith, showing the world that true security and peace are found not in wealth, but in the unchanging love and provision of God. Exploring Romans 8:28, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose, provides us with profound reassurance and a robust framework for understanding how our personal and financial lives can align with divine purpose. This verse offers a promise that transcends our everyday concerns, including those about our financial well-being, reassuring us that our efforts and even our struggles are part of a larger, benevolent plan. This scripture teaches us that every aspect of our lives, including the financial decisions we make and the resources we steward, is woven into God's greater plan for good. It suggests that wealth is not just a measure of financial success, but a tool that, when used wisely, serves God's purposes and advances His kingdom. Imagine how this promise can transform your approach to financial planning and management. It's not just about ensuring you have enough for the future or protecting your assets. It's about aligning your financial strategies with God's purposes. This might mean investing in businesses that uphold ethical values, contributing to charities that align with Christian missions, or using your financial knowledge to help others in need. Reflect on how understanding that all things work together for good can alleviate the anxiety that often accompanies financial decision-making, even in times of economic downturn or personal financial loss. This promise helps to maintain a perspective that every challenge or setback can contribute to a larger, divinely orchestrated outcome. Now think about the practical implications of this belief in your daily financial actions. When making investment decisions or planning for retirement, how does knowing that God is working through your decisions change your approach? It might lead you to be more patient with your investments, more generous in your giving, or more peaceful when financial uncertainties arise. Envision how this scriptural truth can encourage you to view your financial resources as part of your Christian calling. Each dollar earned or spent is not merely a transaction, but a part of God's providential plan to bring about good in your life and the lives of others. This can inspire a sense of purpose and intentionality in how you manage your finances. As you integrate this profound truth into your life, let it shape not just your financial goals, but also your broader life goals. Knowing that God works in all things for your good encourages a holistic approach to wealth, one that values spiritual growth, relational richness, and community impact as highly as financial increase. Let Romans 8:28 serve as a constant reminder that your financial journey is not isolated from your spiritual life, but is a crucial component of your divine calling. This perspective invites you to trust in God's overarching plan, even when the market is volatile or your personal finances face challenges. It assures you that your financial diligence, guided by faith, contributes to a greater good, weaving your efforts into the vast tapestry of God's work in the world. Embrace this assurance as you navigate the complexities of financial management. Let it empower you to make decisions that reflect not just worldly wisdom, but heavenly guidance, ensuring that your financial legacy is one that truly aligns with the purposes for which you have been called. This integration of faith and finance not only secures your material needs, but enriches your spiritual life, affirming that in all things, God is indeed working for your good. Envision your financial decisions as part of a larger spiritual practice, where each choice is an act of worship and an expression of faith. This approach not only changes how you view your wealth, but also deepens your relationship with God, knowing that you are using your resources in ways that honor Him. As you go about your financial activities, let Proverbs 3:9 be a guiding light, reminding you to continually reflect on how you are using God's gifts. Ask yourself if your financial habits reflect a life that honors God. Are you managing your money in a way that shows you trust Him? Are you using your wealth to make a positive impact in the world? Let this exploration of Proverbs 3:9 transform your understanding of wealth from a personal asset to a divine tool. By choosing to honor the Lord with your wealth, you align your material resources with your spiritual values, ensuring that your financial practices enhance not just your life, but also the lives of others. This alignment brings a deeper satisfaction and peace, knowing that your wealth serves a greater purpose and contributes to a legacy of faith, generosity, and impact. Through this understanding, embrace the profound privilege of being able to honor God with your wealth. This commitment enriches your spiritual journey, deepens your trust in God's provision, and transforms your financial blessings into instruments of grace and impact in the world.